In our last video we did 4 circle problems in the top section, top flap of section 3 in your Unit 11 flipbook. Now we're going to be moving to the bottom section of, the bottom flap of section 3. We've got a couple essential questions here. Let's go through the first one first. There's a left-hand side. Essential question. How can I graph a circle given its equation in standard form? How can I graph a circle given its equation in standard form? And here's our question. Graph the equation x minus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 1 quantity squared equals 9 and label the center and radius. Well, what I'm going to do, class, is let's rewrite the standard form of a circle. This will always help us to make sense of these problems. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared is equal to radius squared. All right. Well, in this equation we can see we've got an h value, we've got a k value, we've got an r squared value. Let's find this out, find the information from this equation. We need two things whenever we're dealing with a circle. We need the center and we need the radius. Get a center and a radius and you are good to go with any circle. Well, the center is going to be at hk, and h is the variable that goes with the x, and h here is positive 3. Remember, we flip the sign, and then the k value goes with the y variable, and that k value is going to be negative 1. So our center is at 3 comma negative 1. Tricky on this one, class. The radius is not 9. You see that in this case the radius is squared in our equation. So in this case we know that r squared is equal to 9, and if we square root both sides we end up with r equals 3. So we've got a radius of 3 units. We've got a center at 3, negative 1. Let's go ahead and plot this. So 1, 2, 3, negative 1. I will always label that as C, so I know that's my center. And then I've got a radius of 3 units. So we count 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down. And then, class, at this point, do your best to sketch as close to the shape of a circle as you can. I can actually cheat in my program. Oh, that's not very good cheating. Let's try and cheat again, and I can just draw a circle that will match up with that pretty good. Again, do your best to make it round. Try to make as close as you can. Don't go crazy, but also don't be too messy on this. And there is our circle. I have graphed this equation. Oh, and it says label the center and radius. Oh, let's not forget that. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and draw, oops, that's what I don't want. Let's draw a straight line here from the center out. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can write in there radius. So this is going to be, let's just draw an arrow. This is our radius. And then this point right here, we should be able to write this in. This is our center. And the center is at 3 comma negative 1. So there is our graph labeled with the radius labeled and the center labeled. All right, second one. Essential question for this one. How can I find the equation of a circle given its graph? So in the last one we were given the equation and we're asked to graph it. Now we're given a graph and we're asked to find the equation. Alright, well, we know, I'll leave this here so you can see this, we know what the standard form of a circle looks like. I'm going to go ahead and let's copy that and put that in here so we see that form. Alright, so we know what our form is, and I can get rid of this red line. Alright, let's take a look at our graph. Finding the center is not too difficult to do. You need to estimate a line segment, a horizontal and a vertical line that pass through the widest point of the circle. So in this case, looks like we're about right here. And then it looks like, oh, this circle looks like it's right on the x-axis. That looks like the widest point. So, appears to me that our center, whoops, let's change that again to red. I don't want to leave that red. Looks like our center is right here, which happens to be, let's label that, our center looks like it's at 1, 0. So center's at 1, 0. And let's take a look at our radius. Radius is actually pretty easy to figure out on a graph, as long as we're dealing with whole units, which I will always do, class, if we're using graphs. Man, I cannot write that word readable to you guys. Radius. And all we do is count units. We'll do that starting from the center. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the radius is equal to 4. Let's go ahead and plug in these values. We know that this is our h value. Having trouble picking right colors. This is our h value. This is our k value. So here is our equation. X, h is 1. That's going to flip a sign. So it's minus 1 in our equation. Plus y. Well, the k value is 0. I can put either plus or minus 0. Makes no difference. And that is equal to radius squared. Let's go ahead and write our final equation. This will stay the same, x minus 1 squared. In this case, we don't need to show the 0 because it doesn't do anything. We can just write that as y squared, since y plus 0 is just y squared, and then 14 squared equals 16. So here is our equation based on the graph, and that's the end of the 2 graphing problems. Hope those make sense.